dear listeners. I am Dr. Paramjeet Singh. I am a consultant psychiatrist at Delhi Mind Clinic. Today I am here to talk to all of you about the neuropsychiatric implications of air pollution. I think it's a pertinent topic. All of us read the newspaper daily, watch the television daily. All of us know and hear that AQI is deteriorating. There are more ppm in the air is not fit, there is burning of stubble around the states. So everything about the air pollution is hogging the limelight or the major part of the newspaper or the television channels daily. It is not without reason. Let's please try and understand from the very start or the very basics. What is air pollution? Air pollution is contamination of air in the environment by certain constituents which can be deleterious to either our health or the environment. Primary or the major constituents are nitrous dioxide, particulate matter, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, ozone, heavy metals like lead. So all of them combine to make the air unfit to breathe, live in or survive in, which is a major threat to the environment. Any of us who believes otherwise is living in a bluffed world. There is no doubt about it. When we talk of air pollution, we think of the respiratory system, the skin, the heart. But here I am in the capacity of a psychiatrist wanting to talk to you about the neuropsychiatric, which means the brain related and the mind related effects of air pollution. How does it lead to this problems? These matters or the gases that get into our blood, the particulate matters which go through the lung into the bloodstream, may percolate or penetrate the blood-brain barrier, leading to a change in the CSF or reaching of such toxic substances to the brain itself. Another, by virtue of causing multiple physical problems and respiratory ailments, since body and mind are a dynamic relationship, yes, deterioration in bodily health would obviously compromise the health of the brain as well as the mind. Another is in a smoggy environment, when you go out, when you smell the world is like a burnt rope, all of this can psychologically put you down. The darkness that these times emanate, the unclarity around us, we cannot see the sky, we cannot see the next red light, all of this does tend to have its own neuropsychiatric sequelae or effects on all of us. So let's please try and understand these effects for betterment of one and all. Let's please first focus on the immediate or the short-term side effects of air pollution. One of the most important of them is the cognitive effects. Cognitive means the effect on our immediate thinking patterns. Attention concentration, executive functioning, judgment, all of them get reasonably impaired by being exposed to higher levels of air pollution just before performing the task as well. Which means when I go to the office via a polluted road, or when a student who sits in an area which has a little higher level of pollution across his computer or a library, he is not able to focus so much, not able to remember so much. He tends to have distractibility during completion of that task. So the performance at the end of the day will be impaired or compromised. Secondly is irritability. People getting snappy, irritable, grumpy. Many people do complain of these effects after being exposed to certain levels of air pollution. Very important. All of us can notice that in polluted areas people are more grumpier. There is no bigger test than that. Headaches. Many people do complain of ill-defined diffuse headaches all over the day. While going to the office, when I traverse through the traffic, when I reach the office, I have a light buzzing sensation in my head. All of these are getting very common. So yes, there is an inherent need to look at the indices of pollution as well as while trying to understand increase in headache during these seasons or during this period. Another is low libido. People, both women and men, may have a decreased sexual drive during the periods of being exposed to high levels of air pollutions. They do directly affect the reproductive system as well as the brain system, should mediate the desire pathway. So yes, both can be impaired. Another is lethargy or fatigue. Many people come to me and my colleagues all over complaining, थकान सी रहती है, बुझा बुझा सा रहता है, जल्दी थक जाता हूँ. Lethargy and fatigue are ill-defined symptoms which most people who are exposed to air pollution indices above a certain level, they're very very common, would affect all of us. There is no doubt. There is an inherent need for all of us to focus upon these. Then let's please come to the medium term effects. The medium term effects please be read in conjunction or in continuation to the short term effects. There are increased rates of common mental health disorders, anxiety and depression. In the immediate effect, people may complain of anxiety like breathlessness, shortness of breath, rapid racing of heartbeat, something like a panic attack or a panic disorder. In the longer term or the medium term, continued exposure to higher levels of pollution would give rise to higher levels of anxiety problems or a wider spectrum of anxiety related problems. People might come with a continuous sense of being anxious, jittery, tremulous, racing of heartbeat, somewhat a picture like generalized anxiety disorder, in addition to the panic that we already talked about. In the medium term, being exposed to air pollution in the long term propitiates the brain or makes it vulnerable or more prone to develop depressive episodes or clinical depression, which is very very important to all of us. Long term or medium term insomnias, from time of hitting the bed to actually being asleep, the latency would increase in people being exposed to higher levels of air pollution. I think it is very important. Insomnia anyways is rising out of the lifestyle changing emanating out of the modern society. The pandemic has already played a havoc with our sleeps. Thirdly, the air pollution will add to the cases of insomnia or sleep difficulties that we see in and around us. Very very important. Then the relational issues. Many of the factors that we have discussed combined together, irritability, sense of headache, anxiety, depression, all of them combined will lead to interpersonal difficulties between us. The boss and the employee both being a little grumpy won't get together as well. Between marital couples, there will be these difficulties alongside sexual difficulties as we talked about. So yes, the world will get little more difficult to live in if the interpersonal area or the interpersonal relationships start to get impaired. Very very important. Many people do not have a well-defined syndrome or a picture to me or to my colleagues. They just complain of fogginess in the brain, feeling of lethargy, sense of not wanting to do something. So ill-defined subsyndromal, which means below the threshold that I would call them a illness related symptomatology. That I think is the most common feature. Many of us are suffering from it, but are not able to identify or give it a name or a cause. They could be significantly contributed to by being in polluted areas or areas with high levels of air pollution. Please take that into mind always. Now let's talk about the long-term effects. Sadly or thankfully, we are the first generation which is exposed to such high levels of air pollution in the longer term. So yes, some of the long-term effects we do not know enough. Wish we never get to know of them, but they are inevitable. Children who are exposed to high levels of air pollutants for a protracted period of their neurodevelopmental period, which means when their brain was growing, are likely to be more prone to develop common mental health disorders like depressions, anxieties. Children with learning difficulties, not SLD, attentional and concentrational difficulties, or hyperactivity or attention deficits in the school may rise because of continued exposure to air pollution. Some studies, very very preliminary, do suggest that higher levels of air pollution may lead to higher rates of severe mental illnesses in the offsprings or the further generations. That is to be seen, hopefully not, but even if the percentage likelihood is minuscule, this is a very worrying figure. In the older adults or the geriatric populations, exposure to continuous neurotoxins may increase the chances of dementias, cognitive impairments. Dementia is an illness of the old age which is primarily characterized by impairment in the memory and other functions of the brain. So yes, that's a scary proposition. About the long term, as I said at the outset, we do not know enough. There may be much more to it than I have discussed here. Very worrisome, something that is very worthy of our attentions as of now. Solutions. Yes, they are known to all of us, but I'll try to summarize them briefly. First, cut down the source of pollutants in and around us. In the indoor pollutants, we can look at the gases which are not burning very well, the agarbattis, the dhoop battis, whatever is the material in the house. Maybe using air filters, maybe allowing a proper ventilation, maybe not going outdoors at the times when the air pollution is at the maximum, not allowing children and elderly to venture out of homes in these days could be some useful tips. Second could be some campaigns like the Delhi, when there is a red light, please switch off your car. They may be useful in reducing the pollutions, reducing the emission in our cars, getting them updated. All of that can be very, very relevant. So let's please find that out. In and around, keeping an eye on someone who is burning a garbage, a construction site which is not doing it properly, and educating and bringing people into the fold may be very, very important. See, it is now or never about air pollution. It has reached a place from where any exposure now is likely to have deleterious effects. We will have to, we are bound to, we are rather forced to pay attention to this and reduce this. So let's please understand these aspects, pay attention, monitor these symptoms in us or someone close to us, and find an appropriate remedy. Thank you so much. Dr. Paramjeet signing off. Thank you.